What if extinction wasn't permanent? What if some creatures we buried in textbooks and museums could walk the earth again? Not in movies, not in myths, but in real life. Tonight, we're stepping into a world where science challenges death itself. You'll see frozen predators from the Ice Age, flightless giants that once ruled islands, a striped hunter declared extinct less than 100 years ago, and the scientists who believe extinction might be reversible. But here's the question that lingers in the dark. Should we? Creature number 1. The woolly mammoth, the Ice Age giant that might walk again. Imagine standing in a frozen Siberian wasteland. The wind cuts through your coat, and through the fog of your breath, something massive moves. Long, curved tusks, a mountain of brown fur, a living relic from 4,000 years ago. The woolly mammoth once roamed across Eurasia and North America. These giants survived brutal Ice Age winters. Their thick fur, fat layers, and curved tusks made them perfectly engineered for cold survival. Then the climate shifted. Humans spread, and they vanished. Or so we thought. The origin and legacy. Indigenous Arctic stories describe massive underground beasts that died when exposed to sunlight. For centuries, mammoth tusks were found buried in ice, too fresh, too preserved. Some carcasses were discovered with intact fur, even undigested grass in their stomachs. It felt less like archaeology, more like interruption, the resurrection plan. Today, genetic engineers are working to splice mammoth DNA with Asian elephant DNA. The goal? Create a cold-resistant hybrid. Not a perfect copy, but close enough to graze Arctic tundra once again. Supporters argue this could restore ancient ecosystems. Mammoths once knocked down trees, allowing grasslands to flourish. Grass reflects sunlight better than forests, potentially slowing permafrost melt. It sounds like science fiction, but labs are already editing genes. The scientific skepticism. Critics warn DNA degrades over time. Cloning an elephant surrogate carries ethical risk. Releasing a proxy mammoth into today's ecosystem could create unpredictable consequences. Some experts argue this isn't resurrection, it's rebranding, a modern hybrid wearing an ancient mask. But the deeper question remains. If we can bring back the mammoth, will we stop there? Creature number 2. The thylacine, the ghost with stripes. In 1936, inside a zoo enclosure in Tasmania, the last known thylacine died alone. The species had once stalked forests with a stiff tail and tiger-like stripes across its back. It wasn't a tiger. It wasn't a wolf. It was something in between, a marsupial predator. Farmers blamed it for livestock deaths. Bounties were issued. One by one, they were hunted. And then, silence. The chilling sightings. But here's where it gets strange. For decades after its extinction declaration, people kept reporting sightings. Hunters, hikers, even police officers. Blurry footage emerged, shadowy figures with rigid tails and striped backs slipping into the bush. Many were dismissed as misidentifications, feral dogs, tricks of light. But the consistency unsettled researchers. Could a small population have survived unnoticed? Or were people seeing what they desperately wanted to believe? The revival effort. Scientists are now sequencing preserved thylacine DNA from museum specimens. The goal? Reconstruct the genome and insert it into a close living relative, likely the Tasmanian devil. It's not just about bringing back a predator, it's about restoring ecological balance. Since the thylacine disappeared, prey populations shifted and ecosystems changed. But critics argue ecosystems have already adapted. Reintroducing a lost predator could destabilize more than it heals. And then there's the ethical whisper. Would a revived thylacine live freely? Or inside a laboratory legacy? Creature number 3. The dodo. The bird that became a joke. When people think of extinction, they think of one bird. Round body, tiny wings, permanent confusion in its eyes. The dodo. Native to Mauritius, the dodo had no natural predators. It evolved without fear. Then humans arrived in the late 1500s. Within less than a century, it was gone. Myth versus reality. The dodo became a symbol of stupidity, but that reputation is unfair. It wasn't foolish, it was unprepared. Its extinction came from hunting, habitat destruction, and invasive species brought by sailors. The tragedy wasn't weakness, it was collision. The scientific revival. DNA extracted from preserved bones has opened the possibility of reconstructing the dodo genome. Its closest living relative? The Nicobar pigeon. Scientists believe gene editing techniques could gradually reverse engineer the bird. Imagine a dodo chick hatching in a controlled sanctuary, not as a curiosity, but as redemption. The skeptical voice. Ecologists warn that Mauritius has drastically changed. Forests have been altered. New species dominate. Where would the dodo even live? Would we recreate the bird, only to confine it forever? Resurrection without restoration may be cruelty disguised as progress. Still, something about the dodo pulls at human guilt. We ended it. Do we owe it another chance? Creature number 4. The saber-toothed tiger. The predator with blades for teeth. Picture a massive cat stepping from tall grass. Its mouth opens, and 2 curved daggers descend past its jaw. The saber-toothed tiger, more accurately known as Smilodon, ruled parts of the Americas during the Ice Age. It hunted giant sloths and young mammoths. Then, climate shifts and human expansion erased it from existence roughly 10,000 years ago. Fossil evidence. Thousands of Smilodon fossils have been recovered from tar pits, frozen in mid-struggle. It's one of the most well-documented prehistoric predators, which makes it tempting. If we understand it so well, could we rebuild it? The genetic barrier. Unlike the mammoth, Smilodon DNA is far more degraded. There are no frozen carcasses with intact tissue, only fossils. And fossil DNA rarely survives in usable form. Some researchers argue that recreating a saber-toothed predator would require too much guesswork. You wouldn't revive Smilodon, you'd approximate it. And then comes the practical question. Where would you put it? A prehistoric apex predator in a modern world of cities? This isn't just science, it's responsibility. Creature number 5. The passenger pigeon. The sky that once turned black. In the 1800s, flocks of passenger pigeons were so massive they blocked out the sun. Observers described skies darkened for hours. Billions of birds. Then, commercial hunting and deforestation struck with mechanical efficiency. By 1914, the last known individual died in captivity. from billions to zero. The resurrection logic. Unlike Ice Age giants, this extinction happened recently. Preserved DNA exists. Scientists believe reviving the passenger pigeon could help restore North American forest ecosystems. These birds shaped tree growth patterns and nutrient cycles. But skeptics argue forests have changed. Human infrastructure now dominates the land. Reviving a species without restoring its environment may only create a permanent zoo population. So what do you think? If we have the power to bring them back, should we? Or are some chapters meant to stay closed? Subscribe for more mysteries where science and the unknown collide. Because sometimes the future isn't ahead of us, it's buried beneath ice.